Alright, this will be the first of 3. I'm going to work on this pillow pet. You'll see it in another video. The whole process it took to de-stuff and sew it back up with a zipper. Which I wanted to do to practice my zipper skills. And also because zippers are cool. And I've always loved zippers and stuffed animals. Because then they're not as useless. I mean, stuffed animals aren't useless. I shouldn't say that. And that's not even why I'm talking about today. But like, in some people's eyes, stuffed animals are useless. If you can make a multi-purpose besides a cuddle buddy and a pillow for a pillow pet's case, they can also be a pouch or a place to hide your electronics if you're going somewhere. Dang it, now people will probably try to steal the pillow pets in the car. There goes my iPad. Anyway, I should probably get to the point. I was going to talk about one of the 3 of the AAA batteries. I think we'll start with autism because that's the one that really, it was just the one that we're going to stop and think for a second. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm ready. Again. So I'd say autism the one that impacts my life the most. Mostly because my ADHD symptoms often overlap, so it's honestly like my ADHD doesn't exist half the time. But then again, it could be because my brain associates every trait I have with autistic traits, even though some of them are ADHD traits too, otherwise I wouldn't have been diagnosed. That sounds stupid too, but we're going to, because I've rabbit holed so much, I'm almost out of time. So it's the one that impacts my life the most. Wait, this is going to be a 4-part series because I have to talk about the picky eating too. Anywho, but I wanted to talk about this because it feels like there's not a lot of us. Like the people, even though there are some of us who can do exactly what I'm doing right now, there are a lot of us who can't. And that's okay. It's just that some people, when they hear autism, they think of, oh, my nephew who's 5 who loves trains and has a meltdown every time fireworks come on. No. No. I guess this will have to be part 1, part 2 stuff because what in the world? I'm going to end it now so I can go to part 2. Alright, and we're back. So, anyway, I know there are plenty of people who are lower support needs, or as some people like to call them, high functioning, which I feel like calling someone high functioning when they're autistic is like autistic people calling them high functioning doesn't really make sense to me, mostly because I function differently every day. Some days you might mistake me for being really different than what I actually am, if that makes any sense at all. Like, one day you see me, I might be perfectly able to handle conversations, think about nuances, remember everything, and not get so overstimulated. And then on other days, I can't even go to the grocery store with my mom without wanting to cry. So yeah, there's also a lot of other things that go into the not wanting to go to the grocery store and it makes me want to cry, but that'll be in the anxiety portion of this long series of... Because I feel like I haven't talked about this enough on my channel, considering I've just done cosplay junk and whatever else, when I really wanted to do this to talk about how disabilities present in other people. As a non-experted person, this is more of another look into someone else's life with disabilities, but also I don't really have time to film every day my everyday moves because honestly, who actually has time for that? Well, I guess my friend Aspen does, which power to her. Power to Aspen. Just power to Aspen. Aspen's awesome. But not a lot of people actually have the time to do that. And considering I want to keep most of my life private, like my sister, I don't want to show you guys my sister. Not because of anything really, but she's not allowed to have social media yet. So I don't want her on my YouTube. It doesn't seem fair. Anyway, we're going to end this and do another part because I guess I ramble. Alright, back for the third time. I'm going to have to step it up a notch because we're going to be here forever if I don't get it together. But yeah, I started this channel to talk about disabilities, but I haven't had time to film my everyday life as a disabled person because I don't have time. And I also want to keep the privacy of my loved ones because they don't like being exposed like the way they are. So I think that's a perfectly fair thing. So I'm going to keep them safe and only do things like this. Maybe if one day I do something that's like more go out with me when I'm like in college or something, then I might do my little thing. But otherwise, no. You might see like part of my morning routine, like breakfast, and I might put Pop-Tarts, or I might put a picture of a Pop-Tart if I do anything like that. Then get ready to go babysitting. I'd film myself doing that, which I don't babysit anymore. Mostly because this is about autism. But anyway, my sensory problems are oh my gosh. Speaking is difficult today, which can sometimes happen to me. Sometimes it's really hard for me to put sentences together when I'm pretty overstimulated, like I kind of am today. They come out fragmented and not always the best. But honestly, it is what it is. Most of the time, people don't really care that my sentences are fragmented. Heck, sometimes in public, all you have to do is smile and nod, and people will be like, oh, she's so polite. Or I guess he, since I want to be he. Well, I guess I don't really care because I use every single pronoun in the book. Except for neopronouns. I mean, I get where they're coming from with it, but I don't think they're mine. Like, like, I don't like neopronouns for myself. If you want to be Zay or Z, you can be Zay or Z. I'll be he, she, they, them. I guess they, them is the same thing, but you know what I mean. Why do I take this time to rant about everything except for my one topic? Maybe I should just give up. Nah, I'm not giving up on this. Hey, at least you guys get entertainment out of this, watching me sew while I tried to decide whether I should be doing something like this or not. Back for another part 4. Alright, so another problem I have, which it is quite, it goes along with me being autistic, is that I can't understand when someone is joking, which I know some people have that, like, they're like, oh, duh, Rowan, most autistic people don't understand sarcasm. That's where you're wrong. I understand my sarcasm and Aspen's sarcasm. I do not, however, understand adult neurotypical sarcasm. Which, I guess that's fair considering they're adult neurotypicals. And I'm still technically a child in the eyes of the law. I shouldn't be, because I'm going to turn 18 here very, very soon. Like, I'm pretty sure. I just heard the skittering of a dog. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I would be. My goodness. The fact that I can't stay on topic today is big suck, but we're gonna keep going. So yeah, I can't understand sarcasm. I can understand the neurodivergent brand of sarcasm that me and my best friend share. However, when it comes to other people, aka neurotypicals, sarcasm. I'm just like, wait, really? You bought 1,000 puppies? That's one of the dumbest ones I've ever seen. Alright, that's not quite. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I can't. Think about... Because it's not misunderstanding figures of speech for me. It's more like... thinking is difficult. If I find a good example, or if someone else has a good example, leave it in the comments. Because honestly, I don't think you want to sit here and wait for me. This is probably going to be a 6-part. This is going to be a 6-part video to a 18 or to an 18 video. Because I swear, I'm probably not going to have enough time to go through everything without it being multiple parts. So, back for part 6? Question mark. Alright, back again. So, as I was trying to say, what was I saying? Sarcasm, yes. The sarcasm is different. It's all different. It's different from my breed of sarcasm, so I don't understand it as much. My hyperfixations have saved my life occasionally. Not literally saved my life, but I definitely saved my butt in Scholars Bowl. Okay, for anyone who doesn't know what Scholars Bowl is, just think of high schoolers playing Jeopardy on teams. And you'll get Scholars Bowl. I'm not going to explain the rules. That'll be a different video, I guess, because I don't know if anyone's ever played Scholars Bowl, but it's pretty awesome. I'd recommend it. Then again, I don't get to play Scholars Bowl anymore since I graduated. I miss Scholars Bowl, bro. But anyway, Scholars Bowl is where you answer questions and stuff. And some of my hyperfixations at one point were ballet and Egypt. And I got questions right on those. And sometimes I remember odd things or things that don't make sense, but they're important later. Which I don't know if my memory comes from being autistic and the hyperfixations, or if it's just because I'm me. I guess it depends on how you look at it. I don't know if other people have the same things. This is about my experience. Alright, I know people say it isn't all about you, but for this one, it is all about me, because when you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person. If you meet another one, do not expect them to like trains. If they like planes, that's a-okay. If they like boats, that's a-okay. Heck, if they like the history of the mitochondria, that's okay. Yeah, I know. Dumb, but still. As I was saying, my special interest is to save my butt, and also I am always prepared, which I don't know if it's an autism thing or an anxiety thing, but I feel like I always have to pack everything but the kitchen sink. I've seen neurotypical people do this too, but to me it's to a more extreme degree. If I'm going for one night, I'll pack 5 pairs of pants. Well, that's dumb. That's a dumb example. It wasn't like quite that many pairs of pants, but it was a crap ton, I'll tell you that. I packed a lot of pairs of pants all the time. Like, I will pack more than I will ever need, especially in the fidget department. You know, that's not an autistic thing. I think everyone does that. So we're just gonna scratch that. I'm too tired to do the intro. You guys probably already know what we're doing. We're talking some more about my sides of the autism spectrum. The high functioning. Yeah, no, screw that. But yeah, we were just talking about how overpacking, I guess, isn't really an autism thing, considering everyone I know does it, and not everyone is autistic. Everyone's a little bit autistic. Okay, does everyone have a little bit of diabetes? A splash of cancer for yourself? Yes, everyone has a little bit of, I don't know, asthma. Everyone has a little bit of lymphoma, you know? Everyone has a little bit of anemia. Yeah, no, screw that. I will be exactly like that. Like, I get so annoyed when people say everyone's a little bit autistic. If everyone's a little bit autistic, why do I feel unsafe in the world sometimes? Why is the world so loud? If everyone was autistic, I guess I shouldn't say if everyone was autistic, the world would be a lot quieter, because some autistic people, like me, don't know their own volume. Like, that's another thing, is I can't figure out my volume. Sometimes I am hella loud. Well, I say hella loud, but I haven't been able to speak loud since I was put in a PRTF. But anywho, but some I don't realize that my voice is louder than a whisper until it's louder than a whisper. And someone's like, shh. Which also, can we sidetrack for a minute, as if we don't already? I hate being shushed. You shush me, it makes me want to throw hands. Because being shushed, it makes me feel like you don't value what I have to say. I don't care if we are somewhere like a movie theater and you shush me, I probably deserved it. But if we're doing something and you shush me, like if we're doing something at home, and like you're like, shh, I'm on the phone. Like, literally just tell me to shut the fuck up. Like, I would rather someone tell me to shut the fuck up and insult me than shush me. I feel like shushing me is a bigger insult than any. Yeah, my point exactly. That is exactly. Like, I'd rather have that happen to me than to be like, no. Anyway, alright. So, another problem I have, which it is quite. It goes along with me being autistic, is that I can't understand when someone is joking, which I know some people have that. Like, they're like, oh, duh, Rowan, most autistic people don't understand sarcasm. That's where you're wrong. I understand my sarcasm and Aspen's sarcasm. I do not, however, understand adult neurotypical sarcasm. Which, I guess that's fair considering they're adult neurotypicals, and I'm still technically a child in the eyes of the law. I shouldn't be, because I'm going to turn 18 here very, very soon. Like, I'm pretty sure. I just heard the skittering of a dog. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I would be. Goodness. The fact that I can't stay on topic today is big suck, but we're gonna keep going. So yeah, I can't understand sarcasm. I can understand the neurodivergent brand of sarcasm that me and my best friend share. However, when it comes to other people, aka neurotypicals, sarcasm, I'm just like, wait, really? You bought 1,000 puppies? That's one of the dumbest ones I've ever seen. Alright, that's not quite. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I can't. Think about. Because it's not misunderstanding figures of speech for me. It's more like. Thinking is difficult. If I find a good example, or if someone else has a good example, leave it in the comments. Because honestly, I don't think you want to sit here and wait for me. This is probably going to be a 6-part. This is going to be a 6-part video to a 18 or to an 18 video. Because I swear, I'm probably not going to have enough time to go through everything without it being multiple parts. So back for part 6, question mark. Okay, time for part 8. Because apparently this series, this whole video does not have enough. My goodness. I know that I have a rambling problem. I've tried to stop. At least it's better than having a gambling problem because I still have my money. That seems rude though. Sorry to all the people who do have a gambling problem. Who I made feel bad by saying that. It's just my brain being my brain, but that's not really an excuse to say things like that. I just wasn't really thinking that much. Why does it sound like the beginning of an apology video? It is not an apology video. I just had to apologize because that was low-key buttholy of me to say. Dang. Alright, so I had the misfortune of my phone being at 10%, so now you're gonna have to stand like this. I don't know how to do it. Hey, yo, sewing kit, can you help me? Probably not. Oh, well, screw you too. Thank you a lot. Okay, let's see if this works. If this works, heck yes. If it doesn't work, the sewing machine. Alright, the sewing kit. Okay, thank you, sewing kit. You get a W for the day. Alright. Back to the autism. So yeah, that is probably offensive to the people who do have an actual gambling problem. So, sorry to them. Another thing that I have is I can't handle textures. Some textures make me feel like I want to puke my guts out. Some words also I can't handle them. Like sometimes when people say words, I'm like like even though this word isn't like even if it's not used in like a sexual manner, panties. I hate that word. Moist. I don't like most sounds. Like when we had this one warm up for choir, I was like zing mama zing 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 some nonsense like that, and you had to like press your lips together to hum. I hated it. You want to know why? Because the vibration was just too much for my lips. And by choir, I was already overstimulated, so it didn't matter what I was doing. But I do wonder. Anyway, I guess we're gonna have to do another part to this.